Hey everyone, my name is Micah and thank you so much for joining me here today on Punch Needle World. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a few of the top punch needle questions that I've received over the past year through Instagram and TikTok, including the #1 most frequently asked question from people after they see this technique for the first time. Question 1. What kind of things can you make with punch needle? You can make so many things with punch needle. While it originally began as a way to make rugs, creatives and crafters are finding all sorts of new uses for this awesome textile. You can make pillows, wall hangings, artwork, a trivet. You can even make a coat. Once you've learned the technique and know the properties and limitations of the textile, the sky's the limit. And here's a hint. Knowing how to sew helps a lot. Question 2. What tools do I need to get started? The only tools you really need to get started with punch needle are a frame, backing fabric, a punch needle, and yarn. And don't forget scissors. Of course, there are variations on each of these. Different frames, different backing fabrics, different tools, and different yarn. And I'll go into all of those in more depth in another video. But as long as you have a good quality version of each of these tools, you should be good to go. Question 3. How long does it take to make something with punch needle? The answer to this question varies. Smaller pieces can be made within a few hours, whereas larger rugs or wall hangings can take anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. When you first start out, try working on a smaller piece. It's important to get a hang of the technique, and it's also important to go slow to make sure that you're creating even loops. The more you punch, the faster you'll get, and eventually you'll be able to work your way up to bigger pieces. But ultimately, punch needle isn't about speed. Punch needle is a slow craft that takes time. Many people find it really relaxing and meditative, and a big part of what makes it so enjoyable is this slow pace. And finally, and this is the most frequently asked question that I get when people first see this technique, how does the yarn stay in the fabric? And the answer is tension. Despite what it might look like, when you punch into the correct backing fabric, you are not creating a hole in the material. Instead, you are pushing a loop of yarn in between the warp and weft threads of a woven fabric. The threads in the fabric are not ripping or breaking. They're being pushed aside to accommodate the needle and the yarn. By pushing all these loops of yarn in between the threads of a fabric, you're adding more density to the fabric, and the tension of all of these loops in between the weave creates an extremely tight hold on the yarn. The more loops you push into the fabric, the stronger and the denser the textile becomes. No glue necessary. So there you have it, answers to some of the most frequently asked questions about punch needle. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And if there's questions that you have that I didn't get to in this video, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to get to them in a future video.